Wired is an atmospheric puzzle platform game where all the puzzles are built on a realistic physical model of electricity. Now, the game assumes no prior knowledge about electricity, and the goal was to try and teach how voltage and current behave in an electric circuit. Hello. A video game is an ideal medium for this kind of topic because it allows us to visualise concepts which would otherwise be invisible, so things like voltage and current. Also, the interactions can be very immediate, meaning that the player can learn by just messing around and experimenting without having to worry about breaking anything or even electrocuting themselves. Also, the format really lends itself to having this sequence of puzzles, with each one building on knowledge from the previous ones. In some sense, the game assesses itself, because you can't complete the puzzles in the game without mastering the concepts being taught. So the number of people playing and how far they get through it is a good measure of success. The game has been out for almost exactly 2 years now, and in that time we've had over 80,000 people play the game. The game takes about 4 to 6 hours to play, so it's quite a big game. And on the standalone installer version, we find about 15% of people who start it get about halfway through, and then about 3% actually finish the game. On the web browser version, I think people are expecting a much more casual experience than what they get. So what we find is about 80% of the people who start leave about 10 minutes in, and then after that the graph looks very similar to the standalone version. We have 8 out of 10 stars on Steam, and this is being rated by people comparing it to other games on Steam, which are generally non-educational games. At its core, the game is a traditional platform game, so players feel immediately at home with the controls. But it has this unique feature, which is that none of the rising platforms or doors or switches will do anything unless they're first wired up to a fuel cell. Also, the amount of power that you deliver to one of these platforms can change how fast it rises, or in other cases, how high it goes. And these mechanics build a mapping in the player's mind between the rather abstract quantities of electricity and the much more familiar concepts of space and time, which are the building blocks of a platform game puzzle. There are many innovative elements to the game. I took AVAL diagrams, which were developed by Dr. Peter Cheng, and I made them interactive. And they help to build a quantitative intuition about voltage and current in the minds of the player. The use of cine projectors throughout the game world, with live action recordings projected onto them. Stop! Come back! Don't go running off! Not yet. The player character is a young woman wearing a hospital gown, and she is the one who solves the puzzles and ultimately triumphs in the game. The only other character in the game is a white man who ages as the game goes on, and that was really just because I had to act him. Wired is free to download from the website or from the game portal Steam, but it can also be played directly in a modern web browser such as Chrome or Firefox without any downloads or installation, and this gives it a very low barrier to entry.